any race, any societal levels or hierarchies of societies, it really embraced for a wrong reason. Being a teacher myself, being an industry leader, impacting several lives has been one of the greatest objectives to be mitigated when this happened. So I'm not going to talk about those philosophies today. I'm going to just touch about things which changed when you as students, when you go back to the industry and going to realize because of post-COVID situations. Majority of the sectors which had an infatuation for customer satisfaction, which has an impact to the lives of those who manage customers on a day-to-day basis, without doubt had a significant impact. But in the bargain, I think agnostic to all the sectors, every sector made an investment on conscious thinking, time, energy, and money to really look at different ways of working. And believe me, this is not an isolated examples of only select sectors I'm talking about. You name any sector, you name any entrepreneurs, you name any corporate honchos, you name any pan pida shop fellow, everybody made an investment of thought process. How do I make my day meet and survive? Everyone. It did not spare anybody. Some people speak, some people do not speak. Some people shied away from speaking, some people really hidden in disgrace. Some people ran off, some people resigned to the fact that this is not reality. But there are another set of people, including corporate, the CEOs and the senior leaders of business, and some part of the entrepreneurial class of people who really invested in them in terms of changing their outlook post-COVID. What is in it for you as students? I can see 96-97% of the classroom is, I think except for a few senior dignitaries from the industry here. I'm really scared because they are sitting there. So they are researchers. Okay. You're researchers? Resource personnel. Okay. So then I'm really scared. And there is press. No. Okay. Because I'm by design, I'm a furniture in Wipro, about 17th year. Okay, I'm a furniture in Wipro now. And what happens to all of us, we are very media shy people. We really mean business. Get to the brass tacks of making you understand what's happening in the hot seat. You're sitting most of the time, 5 days a week, on a hot plate. You know hot plate? Okay, so you know the heat of what you go through. So I'm going to give you some brass tacks of what is in it for you as students, because 96-97% of this classroom is students. And if you incorporate about 10% of suggestions given by all the resource people, I want to include them, 10% of the suggestions provided today, I think you will make it big. Number one, technology is not icing on the cake. It is not the cherry on the ice cream. Let me repeat, technology is not the cherry on the ice cream. Technology today is the base of the pudding. Without technology, agnostic to any sector, technology is going to take away majority shades of how do you work, how do you survive. Now, you might not see that openly, vehemently impacting your life, but the fact of life is whether it is teaching, whether it is running large business or a business in Bandar or running your own startup, you have no choice but to embrace technology. Now you'll ask me, sir, I'm a BBA student, I'm an MBA student, what technology you're talking about? ಹೌದಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಟೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಟೂಲ್ ಗೊತ್ತು? BI, R Studio, Python, that's little extreme. Yeah. Let me tell you, and this is why when I come to Mangalore, no, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಹೊಡಿಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನವನೇ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಾರ ಕೊರ್ರ ರೊಟ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಫರ್ಕ ಕೊರ್ರ ರೊಟ್ಟಿ ಒಣಸು ಮಾತು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಮಜಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡು. And one of the reasons some differentiated from that attitude and did iconic change to their life. And you know all of them. What you don't know is failure stories. Most of the time when we are looking at corporations or experiences, we always speak about success stories. I think it's important to know the difficult failure stories. So my request to all of you, in your line of specialization, whether as an MBA in HR, finance, operations, marketing, what is the technology segmentation which you need to learn? Now, if you don't have it at a given point in time, because you're in that circumstances of being a student of an MBA, you may not get an opportunity to learn. But what stops you from going beyond and learning yourself? There is Upgrade, there is Udemy, there is Coursera, there are enough and more organizations available for you to learn technology. You will be certainly, for a lack of a better word, you will be certainly an isolated soul compared to all others who are working with you, who are technically digital natives. Certainly, there is no doubt about it. And technology did not spare anyone, whether you are an entry-level employee or a vice president. So, technology is the only solution for you to survive, even if it is your own father's shop. Even if it's your own age-old business for 3 generations. You need to incorporate technology in your smaller format to realize value proposition. You may not like this statement because you don't know what's going to happen. At least in close quarters, when I look at large businesses, one of the reasons there is clean, wiping off the slate has happened in many businesses, and you know the examples. Who started smartphones in India? Who launched smartphones in India for the first time? Just guesses. Nokia never had smartphone. They never had smartphone. No, iPhone and all came later. No?
Micromax.
It's a company called BlackBerry, right?
BlackBerry.
Where is BlackBerry now? Where is BlackBerry? One example. How photography has been known to us.
Kodak.
What happened to Kodak? What happened to Kodak? My father-in-law is a professional photographer. At the age of 65, he has to give up photography to learn digital photography. He had 45 years of experience in photography. He, for the first time at the age of 63, used something called mouse. Iliala. Computer mouse. First time, 63-year-old. First time he could make digital photography. If 63-year-old fellow or a person who has deep domain called photography, we are talking about domain, right? Deep domain, talent of photography. I think morning we had an excellent photographer. Even ask him privately after this function, go to the corner, ask him how he deals with digitization. You will have a story to listen to. So what I'm trying to impress here is, I think, do not ignore. You know what will happen? We will all eat you raw for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Once you join industry, if you are not capable, your capability is not complementing technology. You like it or don't like me telling you this? That's a fact. That's number one. Number two, your competition is not SDM, few 120 students or 240 students passing out from this campus. The entire emerging world, whether it is Philippines, whether it is Latin American countries, or countries which can't speak this language called English, called China, are going to compete with you. Your fellow colleagues may not be seen by you on a day-to-day basis, but they are really competing with you. I'll give an example to justify what I'm saying. We had a large airline services business wherein we used to cater to their customer service. Airline customer service business. I don't want to name the client, but I just want to tell you the story. That particular services business, customer service business, was based in one of the tier 2 cities in India. I don't want to name the city also. One of the large cities in India. We had 800 people working for this US large airline business doing customer service. Here comes a day when the customer comes, and this customer has been with us for about a decade when this happened. By that time, he was working with us for 1 decade. Here comes the customer. In the next renewal for the contract says, I'm going to lift and shift the entire business to Philippines. In about 3 months time frame, the entire business of customer service for this airline overnight shifted to Philippines. Because they were competing with you at similar costing, similar price points, but a superlative better customer service. Because they know the same language as you speak called English. But their service attitude, their ability to give services to the larger world was far, far better. In about 3 months' time, they were operating at 5 Sigma level. Who's the loser? We lost the business. Fortunately, we had an operation in Philippines. We did not lose the business that way, but India lost that opportunity. So what I'm trying to impress here is, if you are students of business, your competition is not Dakshina Kannada district. Your larger competition is Karnataka state. Your larger competition is India. Your larger competition is emerging world. You have to be vigilant in terms of learning things beyond your curriculum by networking with people, relating to people who are doing similar kind of programs across the globe, make friendship with universities and colleges wherein students are learning the same course called Masters of Business Administration. And don't waste time on your Insta posing for yourself because you are attending a conference today and 6 trails of your Insta photographs are put. It is of no use. It is pseudo personality profession building exercise. It is like a helium ball. When you leave it, it disappears. My ability for my dear students to acquire during this term, during your subsequent term in this college, to know who are the best in class people in this universe, who can really build those capabilities which you don't have. Fortunately for you, your uncle is very close by. He's in your lap, he's in your pocket, called Uncle Google. That uncle can help you. Go and work. So I was fortunate to work and earn for my fee. You have the Brahmastra called mobile phone. Make your mobile phone as your slave to build your networking skills. How many times you have leveraged LinkedIn to connect with those people who can value add to your profession? How many times you wrote an article summary which you went and published using your personal LinkedIn account so that you know for sure there are people across the globe who can read your article summary. Thereby, you build a skill called, we always write this bullet called, what is the skill required to be a great professional? Networking. Have you done it? Or it's only in the paper? How many times you have your ability to have, go to a forum wherein you can present yourself, and one unique opportunity you have today is presentation of papers. How many times after the presentation of paper today in SDM, you're going to publish it? For those people who can critique it, so that you know which pedestal, which ranking you belong to. Your competition, unfortunately, is global. That's the second. You have a choice to sleep, because after you come out of this campus, even that dog which is there, no, it will say, "Oda, done now 2 years, stay outside the gate." Nobody will recognize you, including your parents. My father said this when I passed out. Evitilla came for campus, and I said, Evitilla is coming for campus. Dr. R.C. Maheshwari was coming for campus. You know what my father said? Unpad father, he was 10th standard fail. He said, yeah, actually true. And this is exactly the word. He said, without a job, do not come home. Sometimes getting a rap at the right spot makes your life little better. So I'm here to give you few raps. Okay? So that's the second. Third one. What is the language skills we have? Tulu, is it? Konkani. Malayalam, is it? I still remember in the sophisticated societies in Bangalore, people talk when they gel well in their kitty parties. Oh, my son is in learning French, and my daughter is learning German. Where are you going to use French and German today? Where are you going to use French and German? If you want to really pick up a skill of language, learn Mandarin, learn Japanese, learn Portuguese. Latin American countries speak Portuguese. And if you still have time, learn Spanish. You might mock at me when I say this. Let me tell you, after 15 years, when you don't get that opportunity, you will still remember me. There are languages in this universe which will complement your domain, or your specialization. If you have an additional language skill, it matters a lot. At the age of 39, my wife picked up a competency called Japanese skills. Today she's N3 qualified and she's writing N2 exam. If she qualifies N1, she will speak like a native Japanese. Age is not a barrier. She's a banker by design. Work in HSBC. For you folks, as students, please pick up a language which is universally accepted in the future. And you're going to compete with those people who has multi-lingual skills. So pick up a language. My fourth suggestion, when you look at the futuristic world post-COVID, is your ability to look at cultural sensitization. How many of you know global geographies extremely well? One of the IIMs teaches you geographies. They teach you China as a subject, 1 credit course. Mexico as a 1 credit course. It's important to know the social demographics and talent demographics, because that's when you can identify talent and your ability to infatuate talent demographics to reciprocate the business expectation. We all talk about global leaders. We are extremely local in our attitude. You want to be real global leaders? Learn cultures of countries where they operate. Because you are not going to operate in a universe of one country. Ask your ex-alumni who has just left this place now. Ask her in the US. She's operating, right? Just ask her how many language skills she requires to have. How can she really shape up her cultural skills by talking to different cultures who's going to shape up her business? She's a business leader, she's into sales, right? Privately speak to her, she will tell you one of the non-competence she will have, because we are so oriented towards one country, one culture mechanism. You truly want to be a multinational executive? You better understand the culture of that universe. And you pay a price for learning it. 95% of the mergers and acquisitions in this universe have failed. Not because in the pockets of not understanding talent demographics or market demographics, product and service demographics, they always went behind improving their market share, improving their financial stability, or getting into new markets because they wanted to acquire that market, and miserably they failed. 99% of the mergers fail because they don't understand cultural insights. They don't understand. That's why reverse migration happens of every major M&As. I don't know whether you study M&A in your course curriculum, mergers and acquisitions. Any mergers and acquisitions, you take Tata's mergers and acquisition of European cars. In privacy, you talk to some of those leaders who run that business. They will tell you in privacy how much difficult it was to make that margin. 90% of the time, your inability to understand the cultural insight made them to fail in being successful mergers and acquisition player. That's the fourth one. And the last one I just want to spend, and I will take a pause as promised. And if you have questions, and we can continue after the Q&A if you want. The last bit is everything has become fast. You have early boredom. you have short span of recognition and living, you can't tolerate change, you get extremely obsessed with what you see as nicety, you can't sustain consistent learnability skills, and you have you have very minimum something called perseverance, patience with common sense. Now, you might call, or your teachers might call this as soft skills. For me, these are lifeline skills. I've seen people who join the industry, 3 months later, they want to change the project. 6 months later, they want to change the stream. 1 year later, they want to change the industry. 2 years later, they want to take Nirvana and go to Himalayas. This is not posting or putting a reel on Insta. The reality of the world is you need to have consistent ability to build knowledge, skills, and thereby experience. On top of that, what I told in the morning, an attitude to shape up your life, not even career. Not even career. Because your active life is about 35 years. And your long run life is about 65 to 75 years. If you are in a hurry, Allah jane kya hoga hamara. So what I'm trying to impress here is, I think building softer elements of your personality, taking cognizance of what's happening in the environment, and being very reciprocative of doing the hard work again and again. And I'll tell you, Rahul told me, Rahul Dravid said once, we were traveling in a small ATR to Cochin, and he was sitting next to me, and how Rahul is, right? Rahul is very introvert kind, right? You make him speak is very difficult. So after a few minutes, I introduced, and then we started cracking a conversation. And I asked him a question. I said, what really made you to successfully evolve as a better player, transitioning from test matches to one days to 2020 and then becoming a coach? He said only one word: hard work. It's the only fellow, whether it's sun, moon, rain, on Chinnaswamy Stadium, on that blocks of cement, he will have a wet cork ball off the pitch. It comes like a speed of light. You want to face the ball. And he is the one who will practice in all the off seasons. That's how the Wall of India started playing one-day matches. He started playing 2020. Let me give you an example from art. Ustad Zakir Bhai, who plays tabla, a childhood fan. I was his childhood fan ever since Zakir Bhai I met when I was 6 years old, because by the age of 13 I was a volunteer radio artist here in Bangalore. Zakir Bhai, even now, must be early 70 or late 60 now. And all the programs, when I get a VIP pass, not because I'm a VIP, I lobby for getting that pass. When I get that pass, you will invariably, and this is the fact of life, I take my family down. My daughter is also an artist. Invariably, if the program starts at 7, you will find Zakir Bhai in the green room at 5:30. And the rest of the 1.5 hours, he practices. For a 2-time Grammy Award winner who has done millions of such programs, what is the need for practicing? That's commitment and hard work. And if somebody comes and tells you that you have to be a smart worker, is actually bullshit. You work hard, you look smart. You don't work hard, you never be smart. And there is no value proposition other than hard work for you to survive. Now, if you think that Kori Roti is the only solution being here, be it and eating in papas. The choice is yours. You have to leverage your native intelligence and commitment which this own city has, or the villages from you belong to. By design, this place is known for working hard. If you don't realize, and being one of them, I'm today standing before you as a villager from the very old place where you all belong to. I can proudly tell you, and I'm not pompous about this, the only turning around point for you to survive in this universe is your ability to work hard. I'll take a pause. I know I've given a lot of insights. Please ask me questions. It doesn't matter if you insult me. It doesn't matter. In this bargain. Please ask me questions. If you have any questions.
I think you should take a seat until they are framing their questions. With the amount of insight Sir has given us, I'm sure a lot of questions are there. But as usual, I think they're taking your tips, sir. They want to take you to a corner and ask their questions so that they get the best of answers. Yeah, without... Yes, sir.
Any questions? Otherwise, you'll get bored because there are series of speakers like that.
But as I said, sir, I know my students very well. They're going to take you to the corners. I thank Mr. Praveen Kumar Kamath Kumla for taking us through the journey of what lies ahead. We always talk of what has been, what was in the past, and learn from history. But today, sir has also told us to learn from the future. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for enlightening our students, and I'm very happy to note the fact that sir is going to spend his day with us. Thank you so much for assuring us that fact.
Thank you.
I now request Dr. Savitha ma'am to please take over for the next session. Thank you.
ఒక బాయ్ స్టేటస్ కూడా భారీ లింగ ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ మంచి పాడుతున్నారు